darkness, the Bulldogs lost their way. Losing everything and forgot how to play. Along came the kid with long blonde hair. His name is Jeff Preston, do not despair. Doggies fans, are you ready?
G'day, Doggies fans, all things Bulldogs. Welcome to the podcast. And here's Timmy, who's just got on to the podcast just in time. Welcome, everyone. How you going? So we've got the big man, Mark O'Connell. The stats never lie. We've got Dave, or D.
That's never lie.
He tunes into the Super League for us, and he's going to keep us up to date with Tom Amone. Welcome back to Pete Noonan, former St Gregory boy.
Hello, everybody. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey,
And
there you
Bulldogs fanatic Timmy.
go. Hey.
So I don't know how many people are watching at the moment. I actually can't see. I've lost that. G'day, Jamie Teasdale. Welcome to the podcast. So tonight's episode, we're going to see how this goes with having a full panel on. But we're going to talk about the grand final, give all of our tips and our hints and that sort of stuff. And then what we're going to do is look at the Jersey Flegg as well. We'll also look at our best moments from the season of 2024, talk a bit about the Dally M medal, and look forward to next year, maybe talk about some internationals, that sort of stuff. And next week we'll be on again on Wednesday. And as this fella here, Mark O'Connell's trying to show me something on the screen. So welcome, Mark. What's been happening?
Not a lot, Michael. Watched the Jersey Flegg grand final the other day and was very impressed with the young fellas. Dally M's not really a fan of that, but congratulations to Stephen Crichton. Apart from that, mate, it's all smooth sailing here, brother.
Now, I can notice you've got yourself an All Things Bulldogs shirt. Obviously, I didn't sell that, just as a disclaimer. I don't sell merch. Mark went and he actually got me to take a portrait. And he's been, your
model.
Hopefully hasn't been having any quiet time with that beautiful picture. I like where it's positioned too, mate.
Right on your right nipple.
I spared no expense, Michael. Spared no expense.
It looks like it. I tell you what, I reckon I could fit into that shirt.
Good into this shirt, don't you worry.
I reckon we could both fit into that shirt at the same time.
I think three of us can get in there.
No drama.
Well, let's make it four.
And D, how you going, mate? What have you been up to? It looks like D's frozen a bit.
D's out of there.
There you go, D. Welcome back. Did you lose connection for a little bit?
My camera's cut.
We'll proceed. Even if you want to go out and come in again, try that, Dave. But moving on to Pete Noonan. How have you been,
Yeah,
mate?
it's just been...
Were you going all right, everyone?
Yeah, we're all good. I'm good. I was waiting for Dave to get his things sorted. Are you right there, Dave?
Don't think Dave's okay.
We lost Dave.
All right, you want me to kick it off, Mick?
Kick it off. Say hello. What have you been up to, Pete?
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow. I'm heading to the Bulldogs Grand Final Ambassadors Luncheon tomorrow with about 20 fanatic Bulldog supporters. All friends.
Oh, wonderful.
Used to be a bloke who used to get a table for us. We've all decided to take him this time because he shouted us for like nearly 10 years. Yep. It's like $250, $200 a ticket, so it's not a cheap affair. and so we'll be hobnobbing with all the past players, present players, coaches, business leaders. There's a lot of people there. And because I've been there from like 10, and I had a couple of years off, and I noticed that once it started to tick not coming well, and all of a sudden we went from 4 tables 10 down to 10 tables 10 or even 12 tables tomorrow. I'm guessing. I reckon there's going to be a massive upswing. People there I'll actually.
Pete, we're having a bit of audio trouble there, mate.
Yeah, Pete swallowed the microphone, I think.
So I'm not coming through.
That's
You
good.
are now.
That's better.
You took the
So I'm
microphone
probably,
out.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing. I'll let you all know about how the day went next week.
Yeah, if you can get some photos as well, that'd be good.
Yeah, I'll try and do that. And
But,
if I do, one of the reasons I'm trying to hook up with Jason Taylor. I hope he comes tomorrow. And if I can have a word to him about maybe coming on in the future and maybe next year if he's still around with the club, and I'll chat to him about that. You never know. I might be able to talk to someone else who's keen to have a run on the show as well. Like, you know.
Yeah,
Never know.
100%. Yeah, well, I think they'll be looking to have some stability for next year, and I think we might see the same people involved in the positions they are in this year. I think stability would be a great thing for our club. Bulldog. Timmy, what's been happening, mate?
Not too much. Yeah, I got out to the Jersey Flegg Grand Final on Sunday as well. It was very good
What were
to
your
watch our
thoughts?
boys. Very, very happy. We played well the first half, but I don't think I had any fingers and nails left by the end of the game.
You and me both, mate. Nothing's easy for the Bulldogs, is it? Nothing's ever easy. It's like anytime we get out to a big lead, I'm like, oh, in anything.
Big shout out to Jack Underhill, Big shout out to him. He was awesome.
Oh, honestly, man, that was one of the best performances I've seen. And if anyone was ever screaming out, I want to play first grade as soon as possible, that game told me a lot. He was head and shoulders best on the field by
Who does he
far.
remind you of, fellas? Like, what's a
Tolman.
current or a previous player that Jack sort of has modeled his game after? Is there anyone that comes to mind?
Probably like
What?
another Tolman. Yeah.
James Graham, he's
Dan-
just
Yeah.
motor.
I see a combination of both.
Yeah.
Well, before we get into that, D, what's been happening with you, my friend?
Yeah, not much. Disappointed last night at the Dally M's. I thought Serraldo was definitely the coach of the year. Carraz probably unlucky, although both wingers did have a good year, so that was a bit of a tough one. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the weekend. I think it's a hard game to pick, and ready to get into it.
Speaking about Jack Underhill, who he reminds us of, Pete, I'm putting together an image, and I sort of had in it. I know he's not blonde, but Robbo, like an evolution into Jack Underhill of past Bulldog props, and I'm wondering whether I'm thinking about it and how it would look as a visual to use, but. Yeah, I just saw another player we could fall in love with. I know it's a lot different to do it in NRL, much bigger stage, but I just love the amount he made. More, it wasn't just that last tackle he made; he made numerous of those tackles. I think we've got the train coming through Timmy again.
Oh, sorry.
Once-
Tim. Hey, you're Belmore Station, mate, are you?
No. Could be the background noise.
I think it's actually something to do with the stream itself, because it happens to Jimmy, it happens to Timmy, It's happened to Mark as well. It was like he was standing near the aircon.
Nah,
But you're all good today, Mark.
yeah, I'm good.
All right, well, let's kick things off. All right, Jersey Flegg, who wants to go? You go, Mark. What were your thoughts?
My thoughts, Jersey Flegg, a game of two halves, which is quite obvious. We were held scoreless in the second half. I thought Jack Underhill was just one of the most amazing performances I've seen for a long time. Cassius Tia, he was great in the first half. Couldn't do much wrong. Second half, not so good for him. So I don't think Mitchell Woods is in any danger. But just a dogged, performance. It was great.
Yeah.
It was Josh Jackson all over.
Yeah, what a performance, hey? What did you think when you were out at the game, Timmy? Who else stood out for you?
Cassius Tia played very well. I thought our outside backs did a very good job, especially when we lost Sewer early. They all stood up.
Yep.
Our fullback is a really good. Yeah. Fullback in the Jersey Flegg side went well.
Oh, Cochran.
Ty Cochran, yeah, he did.
Yeah.
He was very good. Very solid.
Well, there was pretty. The wind was going obviously with us in the first half. I felt we were grinding from the start. So, and it was it reminded me a lot of the games we want to play. What do you reckon?
Absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Pete, did you watch the game?
No, I was in Foster watching my daughter play Sevens rugby in a state cup, so I was up there watching that at the time.
How'd they go?
They won the bowl final, which is state level, 28 teams. 7 plays 8. So thrown together team that doesn't really play tackle rugby or league or whatever. Most of the girls, probably about 4 of the girls, had never played tackle footy before. So these girls are thrown in and against big Polynesian girls and held their own. And I was very proud of them. They, especially my daughter, because she hasn't played tackle footy yet. But she's a half. Yeah, she's a half. So, she's a ball player. And
takes after her dad.
Yeah. She's a little quicker than Dad. Just a little bit. She's got a little bit of fast twitch about her. But, it was a good weekend, but I just unfortunately couldn't see the Jersey Flegg. I was with people up there their daughter was playing in the Steelers team that played the grand final of the Harvey Norman. So they had the live stream on that, but I just wasn't able to get over and see the live stream on the Flegg. I've got a question though. Do our teams all train this and play this sort of the same way? Was our team playing similar to the first grade squad when they do their thing, especially defensively? Is it filtering down through the grades?
I feel like it is. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's 100%. And I said this last year. The style they want to play, and John Curry talked a bit about this, is that they're trying to. It's similar to what development clubs are doing across the board.
Like Panthers, yeah.
So I've said Panthers probably 1 million times too many over the last couple of years. So I'm going to say development clubs.
Yeah, good call.
Yep. So development clubs, what they do is try and implement a similar style, obviously with a bit of flavour of each coach, but the head coach runs the whole program, and the idea is to win premierships in first grade. Whatever happens in the lower grades is a bonus.
Yeah.
And and that Jersey Flegg side, like they could have picked probably another 2 or 3 sides to run out. With a different bunch of players in it as well. But, Timmy, you're coming out again.
Wow.
How did the Gabriel boys play? Did they mark each other or no?
Sure did.
Well, they
Were
did.
marking each other man on man, Mark?
Yes.
Yep.
Wow. Who pointed
content.
out? Good content.
did-
Who
well-
outpointed whom, if you don't mind me asking?
Cronulla didn't give Michael the ball.
Yeah, right. He's got some talent, that boy, that Michael Gabriel.
But Danny Gabriel didn't see much of the footy either. But defensively, in the last 20 minutes, Michael Gabriel started getting the footy, and Danny did some up and in stuff, which was we would have lost if he didn't nail his assignment. So really well done by him. So, what did you reckon about the game, D?
I didn't see it, unfortunately.
Oh,
How dare you?
Yeah, I missed it.
Give yourself 50 lashes.
I know. I'm shattered.
I wouldn't mind one of them right now.
actually not a bad drop.
It's a pretty
Oh,
good
one.
drop.
For the
Sponsored
50
by
lashes. Don't buy.
It's actually owned by bloody Forex, if you wouldn't. mind.
It is actually.
But the footy's over, so we don't have too many watching at the moment, but don't worry, they will watch the stream later. So we've got plenty to talk about for our chat group. So it's great to catch up with you all at once. Do we want to move from the Jersey Flegg, or have anyone got any more ideas on that?
I don't know, there's some smart people on this panel, so maybe we go to the NRL.
Grand final?
Sure.
Who's going to win? We'll start with you, D. Who's winning the grand final?
This is a very hard one for me. I've changed my mind a few times this week already. Look, I think I'm going to go with Penrith. I'll start with that. I'm sticking with the champions. Like, until they lose, I'm not going to back against them. I see this game very similar to 2020, but reversed. Back then, Penrith were the team coming through, and they needed to sort of beat Melbourne to win the comp. But Melbourne beat them, so I think it'll be reversed. I think Penrith will get this. The interesting matchup for me is the centres, the two former Bulldogs, Alamolity and Meany. I think they're both got errors in them. I think they'll both be probably the keys. I think whoever comes out in that might just, because I think everyone else across the board is pretty matched.
Mate, well, you took the words right out of my mouth about when you said I see this as the 2020 grand final in reverse. That's exactly how I see it too. What's your thoughts, Timmy?
I was leaning towards Melbourne up until Nelson Sofa Solomona got ruled out.
Yep.
But yeah, I'm with Penrith as well now. It's going to be very close. Yeah, but I can't see Penrith losing this one.
So D, what do you reckon the score will be?
I think 16-12. I think similar to 2012 grand final.
There you go. And Tim, what do you reckon the score will be?
24-20.
Who's got the bird out there? Is that you, Mark?
That's Mark.
No. Bird's here, buddy. You haven't seen a bird since JC was a small brother.
All right, Mark, who's going to win the grand final?
Mate, this is going to be a tough one. Melbourne have beaten Penrith twice this year. They've lost Nelson to the grand final, which is a blow, but they're playing their best football. Panthers have another couple of levels, but do they do it on grand final day or do they not? I think Melbourne might get the chocolates on this one.
What's the score?
I think it won't be close. I think it'll be 30-18.
Oh. And we're left with you, Pete.
Coin flip. Honestly, fellas, I can really see this game. I can see it going two ways. Am I allowed to say two ways? I can see it being a golden point draw, and Panthers get the chocolates. I'm with the panel. I think Big Nelson's Oz Melbourne. I think Melbourne was going to win. Just the way their spine's playing at the moment. Even players who are brand new NRL footballers. Jack, what's his name? Jack Howarth. Been watching Warbrick play. Like, I know he didn't get the top winger in the comp from the Dally M's, but the last 6 weeks he's been the best winger in the comp. He's been unbelievable, that guy. Taking it off the back fence on the fourth run and just flying right through the middle of forwards. And I go, the guy's he's a terror. So, but once Nelson went down, I couldn't go. He's their alpha. You need your alpha. You need your Jared Hargraves for our grand finals. If you don't, I don't think Kamakamika, Welsh, and what's the other bloke? King are that. And Leota and Harris showed what they do. Fisher Harris show what they do every grand final they've done. They took out the first one, South. They took those two props out. They smashed the Parramatta props, hammered them. They smashed Campbell Gillard and Polo. And then the last year was a coin flip between him and Payne Haas, and obviously you know what Nathan did and what Crichton did to win the game for him. But as far as I'm concerned, I just think the power is in that front row with Fisher Harris and Leota, and I think they're gonna smash those two front rows for Melbourne and set the tone. And we'll see. Or I could be wrong there. If Melbourne win, they're going to win 13 plus. If Melbourne do win, they'll win 13 plus. Because once they get a roll on, you honestly, if you just give them one set after another, they are just terrorising teams. So that's how I see it.
All right. Well, welcome back, Mark. Well, I think
Answer my daughter. She wants to tune in for some unknown reason.
she wants to check out all the talent on here, mate.
Yeah, well, you'll be one of them, Meek.
That's all right, mate. I've got Kikio in the back here. She can check him out. Big build. And I've got Jacob
Good
sitting
call.
on the guitar. Pour me some Shiraz Carez.
Yeah,
Look,
right.
What do
I've
you
got,
think?
I think Penrith. I agree with a lot of what Dee said, to be honest. And all of you every point you have said, I agree with it 100%. There's so many scenarios, as we know. One thing we do know is that there's likely to be less penalties yet again, and an average play the ball speed of 3.5 seconds. Now, I think Penrith have got the ability to slow Melbourne down, and to me, Penrith have the ascendancy in the forward pack, and that's why I think they will win. But I do think Melbourne have a couple of areas which they can attack, which Penrith, if the Storm take advantage of this, it'll take them a long way to winning the game, and that's Paul Alamotti in his combination with Jerome Luai, and also Luke Garner and Nathan Cleary could be a weak spot in defence.
They get spotted up there. Definitely.
Very, and I think what Melbourne will try to do, and this will be like a game of chess on that edge, is it's a case of, and Penrith will do this as well with the ball, but without the ball, it's like they're going to target Cleary and have Garner try to protect him. There we go. Well, I'm speaking. That's right. Are they going to have Garner trying to protect Cleary and take advantage of the extra man if they can generate some speed? I think you'll see Pappenhausen attacking relentlessly both sides.
Yeah.
Definitely left.
and Munster going at him all night, asking questions. And I think the inside balls are going to open up space as well. And I think Eli Katoa is one that's
Don't sleep on him.
proven to be able to break those tackles, and even late in matches as well, not like when teams are tiring out. So that's where they got the advantage. And I think Penrith, for the first 60 minutes, if they need to establish themselves and get ahead, because I actually think if it's tight, honestly, I could be completely have this reversed, but I think the Storm might have a bit more energy, and that's something which normally doesn't happen against the Panthers. They normally outlast and outplay opponents. But I guess the other thing is Paul Alamotti. I think he's got some head demons, and I think that the Melbourne Storm will be asking him questions all day. He's played really well this year, deserves his spot. I hope he does well. I really want Penrith to win because I can't stand. I like Nick Meaney. I love him, but I hate the Storm.
I hate the Storm.
I'll go for Nick Meaney.
Paul Alamotti must feel like he's been kissed on the cock by the good luck princess. Like Taylor May going down. Everyone just in that position. Like he would have gone down there as like probably third or fourth string right centre. Seriously. And now he's playing a grand final. He must be thinking, my Christmas has come at once. Seriously.
I think he's thinking he's done the right decision, actually.
I know he has. He's managed his done well.
Doesn't matter who's third or fourth string. He's playing the grand final, and good luck to him.
I'm not saying he doesn't deserve it, Mark.
That comes down to it comes down to
I'm just making a point. I think he must feel very, very fortunate that he's made the decision to go there. I can tell you, if Melbourne are going to win, here's my take on it. And they showed that the last time they played them. The high ball is the Achilles heel of the back three of the Panthers, not just the height of them, but Warbrick, Coates, and their two second rowers who charge down behind the wingers. They don't engage in the kick. They wait for the kick to come down. Warbrick and Coates bat it back. Ellie Katoa are sitting there right there, ready to go, and they scored 2 tries from that same play, and then they've continued with that play time and time again every week since then because they've had joy. And I think against Panthers, that could be a really big play for them this weekend.
Well, they also take To'o out of the game. So it all comes down to how I just think in a finals game, they're going to have less chance. There's usually a lot more kick pressure in a finals game and in a big game and an origin game. It's harder to assert ascendancy with your kicking game, which falls into the hands of Nathan Cleary and the Panthers more so, I believe, with their kicks. But with the attacking kicks, like they've got 2 of the best catchers in the game, those guys. So,
Clutch Cleary.
See, I think, like you're right, Mick, in a close game, Melbourne are more chance of coming over the top. I think because they have more attacking options. Like they have more threat across the board, just like you guys talked about with the high kicks, their second rowers, their attacking threats. Their spine is elite. So I think the Penrith really need to get off to a fast start. But one thing in Penrith's favour is the fact that any player that wins a Dally M and then plays in the grand final tends to lose that grand final. And Ben Barber can attest to that.
That's Mike Cool. Is Mike Cool on?
No, he's not. There's not too many people on tonight.
How many times has that happened, Dave?
How many Dally?
I don't know the stat exactly, but like I can't remember the last person to win a Dally M and win a grand final.
It's been a long time, I think.
Good.
I mean, you've had players like Nico Hines and that who probably never will play a grand final, like win it. So, but there's definitely been players like even the years that Andrew Johns won it, and I don't even think he won a grand final.
No, he didn't.
Yeah, no, when there's teams that are just like one standout player so far above everyone else in the team.
We're all back on.
A midfield, it's like predominantly they win the Dally M. From the great teams, you don't have a Dally M player coming from the great 1, 2, or 3 or 4. It's just there's too many good players for them to compete against for those points.
Here's an interesting question. So Melbourne is one of the best teams at nullifying opposition's greatest threats. What would Penrith's greatest threat be? What do you think they'll be looking to shut down?
Isaiah Yeo. If they're not shutting down Isaiah Yeo, they got no hope.
How do they do that?
I don't know, Michael. Many have tried for a long time, and
slow the rock down.
Well, I think they would do the same what they did to James Gray in 2012 and just rush him and just cut off his time.
When's Isaiah Yeo been a standout in a grand final? What year was it?
You pick one. All of them.
No. His work ethic, yes. And his amount of touches, yes. And he's just as busy, but he's not as effective.
That's a long bow, mate.
He's
been the best position for a long, long time.
So again, yeah, he is one of the best in the position. Him and the other guy from South. So I can't believe I've just forgotten his name.
Murray.
Cam Murray is better in a big game. He's better in Origin. He's better for the training side because he's fast. He's got better leg speed. He's got a quicker play the ball, and he's got a slightly faster pass at the line. And that games you've got to generate your own speed, Mark. You don't get the same play the ball speed, which gives you that little bit less time to do things.
They still win.
He's a winner. He's a champion. He's a great leader.
That's all you can say.
He is.
But they've both got advantages to them. So I think Cameron Murray's got a few intangibles a bit that Yowie doesn't. But Yoey's got a couple of things. Cameron Murray's not 6'5", and runs.
He's not.
Yeah, he's not 6'5", and he still doesn't just. When Yo runs, he doesn't bend the line. He just keeps pumping those legs forward, and his close contact moves are ridiculous.
He's ball playing.
Irrespective of his ball playing, I think they both are good at that. But Yoey's got that unbelievable leg drive, just keep charging. But I think Cameron Murray just gets a few little things, I think, that separates him from the pack in that spot, in my opinion.
So just to elaborate on that, and I'll let you have another comeback in a second, Mark. Isaiah Yeo hasn't been as effective for New South Wales because of the play the ball speed, because of the refereeing of the game. But the one thing that he is really good at, and Nathan Cleary, they both do it really well, is that they get hit in the back, which Camry does as well. So they engage the line, but they engage it at 90 degrees, so straight at. And because they've got that ability to do that, it gives them that extra split second, which they need for their edges to make penetration. But the Penrith strength is to play the ball speed, go set for set, and just pulverize teams into submission. Whereas I think Melbourne have got a bit more ability to play off the back foot. And so for me, if Penrith can bust that forward pack down in the first 20 minutes, they might be able to dominate and get some points up early in this match. And that's what I'm expecting to happen. And I expect that Isaiah Yeo will be a big part of that. But if the Storm are allowed to lay all over him and slow him down, it's going to nullify Isaiah Yeo a lot, as it has in big games, which is why he was replaced by Cameron Murray in a few different Origin games as the lock.
Yeah, okay. Isaiah rarely goes 90 degrees into the defensive line. He's always 45 degrees and has options inside and under him as well.
Yeah,
so
but on
he creates
when
problems.
He hits them, mate. Yeah. So he's 45 degrees, but he straightens up at the last minute, which is what gives him the advantage. because he forces the commitment to the tackle.
That's right. He's
Very
engaged. Yes.
G'day, Adam, Aussie Prison Talk. Welcome, mate. Sorry I didn't get the message out to you. You should have got a notification, though. Thank you for coming on, brother. And just welcome to Scary79, Steve, and Coda Ellen. Welcome to you. Go the Dogs.
Carter Allen, huh? Heard that name before.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Who's that?
Could be an offspring.
Oh, that's your daughter. Oh, hello, Coda.
Brought in the battle staff.
Adam says Storm 18, Penrith 12. You could very well be right, mate. So, what else have we got happening?
What about Clive Churchill?
So, Timmy, what do you reckon? What's your thoughts on the game, mate?
Well, you just talked about Isaiah Yeo. He may actually be the difference between the sides. He may win the Clive Churchill. There you go.
There you go. Mark, Timmy reckons, Timmy agrees with you, Mark. So there you go.
You're a smart man, Timmy.
I'd love to see Yowie win the Clive Churchill and Panthers to win the comp again for the fourth. I hope you're right, Marks. I really do. I love Yowie as a player. I just think if he has a blinder, if Yowie does have a blinder and everything works out, they play the Panthers' way, and Fisher Harris and Leota set the platform, that's the key.
Yeah,
they've got to take those two front rowers out. And if they're charging, like when they started the other week against the Roosters, that in the semi, the Roosters played this really, how would you say it? Defensive. They didn't go for the attack. They played two wingers and a fullback 20 metres back behind the line on the fourth tackle, and Cleary goes, fuck this, we're going to go left, and we went bang, 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 and all of a sudden and they went down the line. There was no one there for 30 metres. Straight away, set the tone for Penrith. They went, Melbourne won't do that. Melbourne's going to come up. They're going to be in your face. They're going to pressurise you. They're going to do what they did against us in 12, where they sent Vunivalu and the other winger, whoever that was, I can't remember who that winger was, and all they did was come up and in all day. And unfortunately, our 5'8" and halfback at that time weren't smarter like Cleary and Luai. They should have put a little kick in behind them to make sure to keep those fucking wingers honest. Unfortunately, they not smart enough. Good players, but not cerebral enough to work out that this is what Melbourne's game plan was. But Cleary is. If Melbourne start rushing up, Cleary will put a dink in behind them. And I think that's the difference between the Penrith team now, and plus they've won 3 grand finals in a row, fellas. 4th grand final in a row, going for their 5th, and they've got so much experience. So when they shit themselves and go, oh, we're in trouble, they all band together and they don't lose focus, if you know what I mean. So
I want to throw to someone else in a second. Yeah, like 100% agree with all those points there, mate. I think one thing with Leota Harris, Fisher Harris and Moses Leota is we saw their best footy in that first 25 minutes against the Roosters all season as a 1-2 hit.
1-2 punch, yeah.
And we're going to see that again. Then they definitely took the foot off the pedal. They've got, as Mark said earlier, they've got levels that they can go to, and they're going to go to them. And it's just about whether Melbourne can withstand that onslaught early, because if they can, it'll take them a long way to winning the match. And look, Josh King, I rated him as probably their worst player. Him and Lalero and all these other players that would probably get a run at Canterbury one day. Like they're the type of players that end up going and playing for other clubs, you know, on more money than what they're worth. But Josh King has actually improved a hell of a lot as a footballer this year. And the one thing, and people said today that Harry Grant's a better footballer than Mitch Kenny. he's a better footballer, but Mitch Kenny, if
Harry Grant
Mitch
doesn't
Kenny
hit
got
like
injured
Kenny.
early in this match, they won't win without him. He is an absolute monster in the middle. I went and watched a few games, mate. He's an animal.
He's an animal, mate. He is the best. But besides, for a little bloke in the middle, no one was tackling like Mann this year. Mann was the best defender in the comp, hitting those middles and like number 8 defender. Kurt Mann was putting himself in the pocket and whacking blokes. And he did it all year. And I said, I couldn't believe some of the defensive bit. The only bloke who can even challenge him is Mitch Kenny. Mitch Kenny's defense head on is better than Leota and Fisher Harris. It's unbelievable. He has got his dog.
Mitchell going first, whereas Kurt is often a second man in and levels people second man in, which he's got the best technique I've seen. Anyway, what's your thoughts? We've got to keep you guys talking. D.
Sorry, Dave. Sorry, Tim.
Yeah.
Hard to get a word in with me.
Another thing we haven't really talked about are the benches.
Yeah.
If we look at Penrith, they've got Snyder on the bench, so they kind of lose a spot because they've got him as a backup. Whereas Melbourne have a strength where they have Wishart on the bench, and he could be the X factor that decides the game.
Through the middle when the forwards aside.
Yeah, absolutely. So I think Melbourne have an advantage off the bench. Saying that, I still think Penrith will win. As far as Clive Churchill goes, it's an interesting one. Depending on who you think is going to win, I think you got Cleary, maybe Hughes would be the favourites. The Australian selectors are the ones that pick it, and I always take that into consideration. Especially if you look back at the Melbourne Cronulla Grand Final, I think Fafita was the best player, but he had off-field troubles at the time, and they picked Luke Lewis as the man of the match. So you want to sort of go with the good guy sort of personality, I guess, off the field. So Isaiah Yeo, Edwards, Pappenhausen, Munster, all the Harry Grant, all the obvious ones, definitely. And the first try scorer, I always loved left centres in big games. So that would be Jack Howarth and Alamotti, I think.
Alamotti. You brought up Tyrone Wishart, and I actually wanted to go back to you, Pete, on Tyrone Wishart. Like, he's from down that area. Have you seen much of him, mate?
My friend's down Weary Beach this weekend. I was talking to him today underground. And he's played in that Panthers New South Wales Cup team that won the comp when all the Panthers teams won it the whole year. Remember what year was that, Nick? 21 or
22, I think.
No? 22.
21
so,
or 22.
Yeah, he was in that reserve grade team. So he's got a really good perspective on why Panthers are so successful, because he remembered, he was telling me he's down there this weekend. He said to me, everyone in Gerringong will be going for Melbourne, even though they're not a New South Wales team. He's very popular down there. And I think that Dragons will come hell or high water. They'll be trying to get him back. I really do. Like, he's got something about him.
Yeah, well, that's what we've got to see. Is he that special, or is he?
Doesn't that tell you about Dragons, how hopeless they are about not being able to get the talent? Like, letting Saab go, letting Wishart go, letting the centre, Garrick go. There's just unbelievable amount of production line of players that this area down here has got. It's a really rich area for talent, and they
just like Figo too
at harnessing that talent.
Yeah.
Well, I'm curious because I'm glad you said that, because I was contemplating today the magic dust that Craig Bellamy has on turning fringe players into great players. And getting Cooper Cronk, he was a utility. Jerome Hughes didn't want by the Cowboys or the Titans, and now he's Dalian Player of the Year. They just have a knack in Melbourne to making fringe players the best that they can be. And
Nico
I don't know.
Hines.
I don't know how you can deal with that.
Oh, the list is endless, but there is a list of players they haven't been able to improve. Cassiano, for example.
Cassiano, that's not a very good example.
They also got young John. What was his name? He was going to be anything at the Bulldogs. He's a
Branko
big
Lee,
proper.
Remus Smith.
Well, Branko Lee won a grand final.
John
with
Kite.
him there. John Kite. Oh, he could have been anything, that bloke. He had
Was
so
he, mate?
much.
I think he changed his name to Sione as well.
John Kite, the forward.
It was John Kite, but I think he changed his name to Sione Kite or something, wasn't it?
John Kite did very well.
Not at Melbourne.
Not at Melbourne.
Ryan Hinchcliffe, here's another one.
Well, what happens is when they leave Melbourne, they're never as good either. So it says a lot about their system. Whereas you find most Penrith players when they leave, so it tells you a lot about when you're looking at the best coach in the comp and probably the system which is the best at getting the most out of the players that they get and having an economy which is getting much more value for its dollar. It's definitely the Storm. And with Penrith, they've just their ability to cultivate and pick the right talent and develop talent for the whole comp to share has been unrivaled as well. Two different systems, and it's actually something I want to talk about. And that's just the perfect, like Penrith get these players, that like they'll let their good stars go, and then they'll go and buy a player for pittance. Oh, thank you, Coda. Wonderful. Thank you so much. I'll have to share that around. That's amazing. I've got to talk about another super fan we had for a while too, which we probably won't see anymore.
Good old Chopper.
Old Chopper. I'll have a little chat about Chopper soon. But I won't say too much, but yeah. We won't see much of Chopper, unfortunately. But yeah. Chopper wanted to come in and run this thing himself. I think he's trying to buy the channel off me, and it's not for sale, unfortunately.
Was he really?
What's the price? What's the price?
Unbelievable.
Well, he's messaging me at bloody 10 o'clock at night or 8:30 or what, doesn't matter. And he's like, and I'm actually sitting with my sister at hospital, but it's all good. But I'm there doing family stuff. And he's messaging me, we've got to get on and talk about the Fox now. Come on, where are you? What are you doing? I'm like, I'm at the hospital. He's like, oh, that's all right. Let's go on. You know? And he's like, oh, and then started getting antsy about it. He's like, I'll just go on by myself. It's all right. I said, do it on your channel, mate. Yeah, but getting back to I got off track there. The Panthers get Amone for $250. We get Critter for $850.
Mm-hmm.
Panthers still make a grand final. We go up 9 spots. Everybody's happy. They lose kick out. We get him for $800. They get Luke Garner for $250 to $300. He's held his spot for 2 years. You know, they're able to find that player, that they're able to buy that player that can come in and do a job for nothing when they have to let their talent go for big money. So,
the top level players are taking a lot of that salary cap, so they have to have that. Like the Prince is on 1.5. Yowie and that are
your spine players are the most expensive.
Yeah.
You know,
So, you know,
when
the guys that When was the last time Penrith ever bought a marquee player? Just tell me that. When was the last time they ever did that?
For next year, Isaiah Papali.
Do you think he's marquee? Do you think he's marquee, Mick?
Well, he was for West Tigers.
No, at Parramatta. Oh, well, he shows you why he's not marquee again playing for them. He's fucking awesome. At Parramatta he was excellent, but I don't know.
Statistically, he's only 2 meters a game less. It was just he's an edge back. He's an edge back rower.
The system.
The system. The players are
awesome in their system. Yeah.
You put Kikau in that team, and he helps them, but they still lose most of those games.
As long as it's not Joe Ashbapali, that's the main thing.
Isn't there talk that he's looking at Parramatta throwing it out there to Joash? What's going on there? And then Gus was saying something like we might try to keep him in our system because fullback's hard. We've got a few numbers there, and try him at hooker. Maybe is that? Did you hear something?
Okay.
That was talked about
number 14, playing 14.
Yeah, that
he
was
has done that. Yeah.
That was from 2023. They captioned an article from 23 to make part of it.
Oh, sorry, I've read that wrong then. Sorry.
See, what happened is that he was playing fullback last year in New South Wales Cup while Perham was in first grade. He did nothing wrong. They dropped him back to. First of all, they said, we're going to put you as a utility for a while because we want to see if we're going to throw Blake Wilson in at fullback to see if we're going to keep him at the club or not.
Best winger in the club.
So they put Blake Wilson at fullback for a couple of weeks before bringing Wilson back later in the season. And Joash actually went back to Jersey Flegg, basically with the understanding that he had to be a leader. So he had to work on his communication. He had to lead that club, and he helped lead them to a grand final victory. He got the fullbacks. Timmy, say hello for me.
Hello.
Yeah, the train comes through every so often at Tim's house.
Sorry.
It's a rugby station.
Andy, Timmy, give up good work, fella.
Timmy, the train driver. And the thing is, on the actual broadcast, when I go and then listen to it later, none of those sounds actually come through. So people are like, don't know what the hell I'm talking about. Maybe that does come through live, but when listening to it live. So yes, with Joash Papali, what I can say is that clubs have been interested in him and all for a very long time. Now, the way player managers work is if a player's on development, they're obviously not on maximum coin, but they're getting some all right coin. I think a minimum 70 or 80 or something like that. But if clubs are saying we potentially might put you in our top 30, then his manager goes to Gus and says, hey, there's clubs interested in us, just letting you know, can we relook at things or whatever? I don't know if they asked that question of Gus, but I'm pretty sure Gus's response to that would be, if you can't lift you're contracted with us on a development, can't look a gift horse in the mouth. If you need to go to a top 30, you'll have to go. Unless they believe that player is someone they've got to sign up and keep for 4 or 5 years. Now, Mark might think that the said player is worth that. I would suggest that Gus would hope to keep him, would hope that he stays and fights for his spot from the development, like Curtis Moran did, like we've seen many players come from that development into the top 30. Bailey Hayward, another one who got started from the development in our first grade squad and then got deals upgraded into the top 30. So that's what you'd think Gus would want from Bulldogs in the development. But if they get opportunities to leave, like Harrison Edwards and the like, he's going to tell them to go and take that top 30 spot and get as much money you can for you and your family for your career and get your career started because, right now the spot's not there. You're going to have to fight for it on less money, essentially. Anyone got any thoughts on that?
Crickets.
Bloody crickets, eh?
I was just thinking, like you've got some relationship with Papali's father, haven't you, Mick or Mark? That you've spoken to the father over online or something. Where does he sit with the club? Are they happy to bide their time? Are they the type of are they impatient? Are they thinking I want? Are they that type of people?
Look, Pele Papali is a volunteer at our club. One of the instrumental people with our juniors, and Joe Ash was one of our juniors coming through one of our 12 clubs. Essentially, they're not allowed to say too much on social media. They're not allowed to say anything really, and they're very, they're good Christians. They, really good people, have a really good ethic, and valuable people to our club. So anything that may be ever said to me, I'm not really at arms to repeat it. I don't know the word to say.
Mate, enough.
Look, let's
just enough saying like they represent the club, they work as a volunteer. That's enough for me.
Yeah. So all I can say is that I listen to everything that Gus says in the media. I see the media, the reports that come out. I hear the rumours that come through, but nothing come. Rumours are very dangerous. So, you know what I mean?
Let's make this clear though. Joash Papali is the best fullback coming through the club, the system. So to dismiss him and let him go to Parramatta would be unfair, really.
We could say the same thing about Paul Alamotti at this his development at the same time.
I think I agree, Dave.
He was one of the best young players coming in there through the game, and yes, he's playing in a grand final, so good luck to him, and I wish him the best. But he doesn't get there without being in the right system.
We're not talking about Paul Alamotti. We're talking about Joash Papali.
Yeah, I know, but is Parramatta the right system for him? I don't think so. I think he's better off going to Penrith than he's Parramatta.
I think he's got too many roadblocks in front of him, Dave, at Penrith.
No, I know. Okay. If you want to play first grade, yeah, but first grade isn't the best answer to development.
Yeah, I know you mean.
Yeah,
Probably.
Yeah. But that's, he'd know better than me, so luck to him if he goes to Parramatta.
Dave, D, a really good point, and I'm glad you brought Paul Alamotti up, and I want to relate it back to our salary cap. How much money how much money did Paul Alamotti earn before he made his debut at Canterbury?
Not much. He was on a rookie contract.
Doesn't matter.
He was being paid. They're all published, so he was being paid $230,000 as a flag player.
Wow.
Jake Averillo could have went to Melbourne 3 years earlier. We had to pay him to stay. 2019, we had, remember Morgan Harper, remember Tommy Talau?
Yeah.
They're all playing first grade. Well, Harper's sort of fallen off the radar, but he was looking the goods for a while. These players were all demanding money from our club. And our club decided, even before Gus got here, that no more. Right? And that's why these youngsters are getting a 3-year deal, some of them, where it goes train and trial, development, and then the third year into first grade. Now, if they don't get that third year into the top 30, It means that they like the person, they like their ability, but they want them to prove themselves over that period. Hey, Timmy.
Hey.
Can I ask a question now, fellas? Like today, it turned out that Curran got an extra year put on. Did he get signed in a 1 year contract or a 2 year contract, Josh Curran? Two. So he got an extra one today, right?
Yeah, they renegotiated and upgraded. Yeah.
Yeah, okay. So he only got one. So I had an argument today saying, no. There's no way Josh Curran's going to come from the Warriors to the Bulldogs for 1 year. There's not a chance. That's not going to happen. And he said, no, it was 1 year and he got 2 years in this one. I said, oh, well, I read it wrong. I read it that he's already been for two. And to be honest with you, I wrote online, I would have said, mate, I would have given him another one.
What's your thoughts on that, Timmy?
As a sign of faith.
I would have locked him down for at least another 2 years.
I agree, Mick. Yeah.
I signed him for 5 years, only because of his stats and what he can do for the club and what he had for the club.
I like what we had coming through already.
What do you think he got for his extra year?
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing. Gus always said that he'll pay people what he thinks they're worth. You know, so if they're playing above their value, he'll upgrade them. So I think he's got a significant upgrade, which is why he's got minimal years. If you're giving him like 5 years on another big contract and he can't maintain that for the net, you know, he has a dip after 2 years, then you just So no, I think they've done exactly the right thing.
Well, yeah. That's the funny thing you say, because
you look at someone like Tamalolo.
5 years.
He's a perfect example of that. Tamalolo's lost value for money, and he was signed to a long contract. His long contracts are no more.
10 years. What a joke.
And then Calipona, he's another one.
That's an anomaly, that contract.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Long contracts have their advantage if the salary cap goes up, you know. And that player can maintain it over a period of time. If they can't,
though, then it's a waste of money.
Yeah, I think they've got their value out of Tamalolo.
But are you saying that you're giving Tamalolo $1 million this year, next year, and the year after that, and he's worth that $1 million? I think he was worth it. Has he still
got another 3 years, though?
Oh, no chance, mate. No chance. I'm seeing really tired signs in him now. And,
How many years has he got left?
He's got 3 years. He's got 3 more. He's his 7th year this year.
Then I agree with you 100%.
He's got 3 more.
On Tamalolo.
What was that? Mark?
I said you can't just put it all on Tamalolo. He needs players around him.
Yeah,
no. We're not talking about the Cowboys, though. We are just talking about Tamalolo.
I'm making like the long contracts don't work.
No, I agree. You're 100% right.
Yeah, you're right, Tim. Yeah. And that's the thing. One thing you got to look at is you got to look to go to Pete Webber's spreadsheet and have a look, and it's got all the years out. So we've got a nucleus of players signed until 2026 now, which means they're all up for discussion November 1 next year, and Curran will be included in that as well. So they'll be able to renegotiate from November 1 next year. Timmy, just say hello. Sorry.
Toot.
Hey, Timmy, what's going on, Timmy?
Yeah,
all aboard.
The thing with we are now, and you've got to look at this the same way with development clubs. It's 2 year contracts, 3 year contracts. Couple of players, have 4 years, but they don't just give them to everyone. You know what I mean?
No chance.
And so they've got it set in their mind. It's completely structured and worked out. This person gets this much, this, and this. And then when players evolve and break the mold, Gus is the one who will go, all right, this guy's like Curran. He would have said, well, we've got to pay Curran probably. He's probably worth 600. Curran's probably gone an extra year for 500. And he'd probably come to us on about 350, 400.
I think he's on 450.
Yeah, I got that cut too, but I don't think it was that much. Sorry, Adam, we're not getting through to too many comments from the board today because there's 5 of us champions all trying to get a word in. You know, and with me here and everyone else, it's hard because I talk a lot.
True story.
But it's the recruitment wars. It's the economy of your team. Our economy, the value of our dollar is increasing by the minute.
And the fact that we're looking to expand with probably another 2 teams in the next maybe 3-4 years means the talent pool reduces a bit.
So we're going to have 10 players, I think, or 15 players off contract again at the end of the year, which is why I think they want to have that. They don't want too many changes for this year to give that stability and know who the 26, 27, 28 team is going to be. But, and hopefully we just see more and more juniors taking those contracts.
You've already seen it this year, as you mentioned before, with Bailey Haywood. Harry Hayes is another one. He's only played a handful of games, but he's been very good.
I'd say Harry Hayes will get a 2-year deal and it'll be development next year and then maybe top 30 in 2026, which means Harry Hayes will be available from the start of next year. That's what I think will happen. I think Lipboy Hotboy would have been the similar deal. And Bailey he's got 1 year now in the top 30 to push his claims to be selected for beyond. And there's a lot of competition there for him.
Yeah, I think Bailey Haywood will be figure into our next 3 years rosters. You take into account Jack Underhill, he'll be in there. Damon Marshall probably gets a shot. A couple others.
Carla Lapu is a big one for me.
And Jack Todd as well.
He's going to be right up Bailey Haywood's ass next year, straight up.
Yeah, KO comes back into the
They both
picture.
play the same very
Kurt Mann becomes injury-free. I think the forward pack is looking very good, Michael.
I really want to talk about our forward pack. And in a moment, we'll go to D and talk about Tom Amone and where he fits in because, look, I think Kurt Mann will move on after next year. I really do. Because I believe that Bailey Haywood and Carla Lawapu will be preparing to take that spot. And I've just got a feeling that Jamin Salmon will maybe be extended year on. That's just my thoughts, my gut feel. But Kurt Mann, I believe if he doesn't get injured, we win that semi-final, in my opinion.
Not even consider.
I hope Jamin Salmon doesn't get extended. I totally disagree with the panel about him. I think he's got photos of Serrato doing something because I don't rate him at all. I really don't. I've heard so many people say this and that about him, and I watch him really closely. And I've had these debates underground with these guys who are mad footy heads, and it's unanimous about him. Unanimous about that guy. We do not rate him at all, and there's some pretty good knowledge that you throw around those tables. So I totally disagree about him. I hope that I don't know why Serrato likes him so much. I really don't. He's been in that system with Serrato for a long, long time, and one of the guys underground knows him. I don't, and he knows he doesn't. He said to me, "I don't understand why Serrato likes Salmon that much. He's a low footballer," and I agree with him.
I don't agree.
It's my opinion.
I don't rate him as our best second rower or our best lock or anything like that. I rate him I believe he's a skillful footballer. His speed of pass is quite good. He can step, and his game in the semi-final was top notch in getting us on the front foot. And he tackles like an animal.
He missed that tackle on Turbo, mate. That was disgusting effort. Come on. Did you see
when was that? In the second half?
When Cherry turned it inside, Salmon makes that tackle, we win the game, right? Salmon went across, and you can see the effort he put on that tackle. Like, honestly, I watch him closely. I watch all the little things about him, and I watch Kurt Mann, I watch Curran, and I watch their effort plays. For me, I don't see what you guys see in him, to be honest. I really don't. I totally disagree.
So,
I watched
so
that
he,
tackle,
he's
win
not
that
making,
game, he makes that tackle on Turbo. And he just dropped off on that. It was a classic round the legs tackle. We just need to complete that tackle, and Turbo goes down. That's the fifth tackle. Hand over on before the 50-metre line, and pretty much we ice that game.
Are you talking about when Todu Kola scored?
Yep. Watch inside.
Yeah,
Have you seen it?
So
Have you
you
seen
can
it?
see,
Have you seen it slow-mo?
so who was the one chasing who was the one chasing in the line? It was Jamin Salmon, and he got stood up. He overcommitted. It wasn't a disgusting miss. It was following the game plan. Reed Marnie actually, after doing 20 tackles,
Mick.
realised 1 second too late to clog up the gap, which is what we base our whole structure on. You're basically blaming him for following the Serrato structure. He overcommit. We've seen Kikau overcommit. We've seen it all season, and it was Turbo and DCE, two of the best players in the fucking game. Sorry for swearing, but I'm passionate about it. I don't single players out for one mistake, mate.
Because when I slowed it down, I've got Foxtel, when I slowed it down and watched it in real time and slowed it down to the microsecond and what the effort that he put into that tackle, that game over. That's game over. He makes that tackle. That's all he has to do. He has to.
How many tackles did he do beforehand?
I'm not worried about that, but I do watch him, and I watch him. I just don't see what everyone else sees in him. I really don't.
What I see is that Tommy Turbo and DCE, they were watching Salmon and they were watching the players, and they knew where to target at that time, and they knew what was going to happen, and they made it happen. It was brilliant play by that. And by the time it come across to that edge, they were both. Like everyone got stood up by that point.
There either like Garrick was a link in that chain there too, and he's supposed to be on the other center on the other side. He's linked in there to make that other pass as well.
It was a great try. All kudos to them. And I'm not Jamin Salmon for that try because it wasn't just his fault.
Yeah, I think it's unfair to point out Salmon. Like personally, I wouldn't put him in my top 17.
He's not my top 17 either.
No. But I can see why Serrato likes him. I know you said you can't, but they're the things I can. The effort areas, I can't fault Salmon. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it's a system thing because I noticed on the weekend in our grand final win, the Sharks scored, I think, one of their tries on the last tackle as well. That's the last tackle thing for us. It's been like that all year. It's something that they'll probably look into in the off season. I'm sure they'll look to correct it.
Did you just drop a trip or something, Mark?
Yeah, no,
that's on my passion,
buddy.
So I'm just
like someone actually has an argument, don't you? You love that.
I'm acknowledging it's a system thing. It's not a one player thing.
Yeah, that's right. And also in that game, that Manly game, there's 5 other moments that I could pinpoint that if that went our way, we win the game. The kick out charge down, the forward pass. Like there's so many little moments. I would not be thinking about Salmon.
When you look at that kick out thing, all it was the bounce of the ball hits it on the point and goes straight to the winger. I go, for fuck's sake! I said we sort of meant not to win.
It wasn't our day.
It wasn't our day, wasn't it?
I knew all that stuff. It just wasn't going to go our way.
Oh my god!
Listen, boys, Satilia Tukanua will take over that position from Salmon next year in 2025. So calm your fun.
Well, he's not going to be. He's not going to be. I don't think Tupanua will be a ball playing lock.
I don't see him as a link man. No.
He'll play 13.
He's more of a hole runner. Great hole
edge back row or middle. to me.
I think he's an edge back row at centre.
Mm.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's it's back row centre. Okay, he's
So
got
that's-
some,
Well, he played half a dozen games there for the Roosters this year.
What you taking? Give me some of those.
Sorry.
Oh, I
If
was
you
gonna
don't,
say-
if you don't agree with Mark, you're on drugs.
Ex-
What he's saying.
That's the way it works.
I was gonna mention. I feel we've got more depth next year with these players coming to the club. Even this year, I noticed like we're starting to build that sort of next man up mentality. You're seeing it like with the development of players coming through.
have you watched Amone much, Dave?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, yeah, his last game was a semi-final. It was an elimination semi-final against Salford. Salford had Tim Laffey playing, who had a strong game. It was so I've been watching Amone all year. He was injured in the early part of the season, and Lee couldn't win a game. His return coincided with their form just turning around, and they were basically like the Bulldogs in the sense that their last sort of 8 weeks of the season, they were playing sort of semi-final type football. So they've actually done well to advance. They're in now a prelim. They're playing Wigan for a chance to play in the grand final. His game, yeah. So playing semi-final football, I felt that was very similar to what he would have in an NRL sort of standard game. I don't think, obviously Super League's substandard, but I think the intensity of a semi-final game sort of matches a regular NRL game. So it was interesting to see how he went. He was a little bit flat to begin with. His runs, he doesn't have great leg speed in that. Oh, sorry, he does have good leg speed, but he doesn't have good leg drive in that he won't make great post contact meters, I don't think. But he's really good at getting in between players because he's quick and he gets to his front really fast, a bit like Steve Price. And he gets a really quick play of the ball, and a lot of their opportunities come off the back of that. So I think that's probably how we'll look to utilize him more of an impact player. Although he does have a great motor, his effort areas are outstanding. His marker work and he's just everything that Serrato looks for. I think I can definitely see why they recruited him. So I'm really looking forward to see where he fits in and how he goes next year.
He can throw a ball. He can get an offload as well, and he's got footwork at the line too, and keeps those legs pumping.
He does. But like, if you watch this semi-final game, he was dominated in tackles. He didn't really get much punch, which did concern me because during the season he was running over the top of people and scoring tries. So, but he was just trying to get a quick play the ball. I don't know if that was his strategy.
Maybe just defense up in the semis. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, definitely, it definitely did, and I'll be interested to see how he plays Sunday morning at 3:30 against Wigan. So I'll be watching that, see how he goes.
And he's a starter, isn't he?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He's their leader. He's their enforcer, really. Although like I said, he doesn't run over the top of the people as much as an enforcer would. He's the player that they look to. Like, he's the gauge. If he's going, they're going. Matt Moylan's their best attacking threat. That I don't think they'll beat Wigan. I think the three teams that are still left outside of Lee are a level above them, so I don't think they'll advance past this week. But I think he'll give it a good go.
I've just put me the 17 that I think that I like for next year, and there's another one to add to that in Ryan Sutton. Off the bench. What's your thoughts on that? I think the back line speaks for itself, but King, Marnie, Saluka Fafita, Kikau, Preston, Curran, Kurt Mann, Tom Amone, Satili Tupanua, and either Sam Hughes or Jamin Salmon.
So that's your round one side, yeah?
If they're fit, probably not round one. I don't think Saluka Fafita.
So like say around 8 or something, like when we're rocking, like a bit like when Sexton came in.
Yeah.
Because I can't see, like Saluka Fafita starting.
Much different.
I'd say Hughes and King will still be our starting props in round one. but I wouldn't be surprised if Amone gets a spot.
If Saluka Fafita can get things going in defence and get his fitness up where he can defend for long periods. His ability with the ball, he's the first hit up guy that we need, and he's someone who'll go toe to toe with anyone. I sort of liken him to a Paseka. Paseka, who's been the best 5-minute player Manly's had for a few years, but now he's a guy who can come on and do 2 good stints for probably 10 or 11 games a season, and next year he'll be even better than that. And
Ikamanu, sort of a bit like that as well, or no, or more Paseka? Because Ikamanu's got a bigger motor than Paseka. Taniela runs out of puff, like Cassiano used to. He runs out of puff.
Well, that's been the problem. But if you go look at the minutes, and this is what I've been doing, is looking at forward packs and assessing their minutes over a season, and you can just see the craft of the program from Cameron Serrato, especially the way he's just lifted their minutes throughout the year, and had them. And when players have had to step into a role, how they've been ready to do that through the program. And we can go back to Curran and the way he was able to become Max King for all those weeks. It busted him. He couldn't do it for 7. He couldn't do it for 27 rounds. You don't want Josh Curran to have to do that role for 27 rounds.
No.
But to we've got that depth where he can step up and be even better than King for those weeks, says a lot about the system.
This is a very fanciful conversation, isn't it?
It's a very good conversation.
Cool. Who do you drop out of King, Curran, and any of the forwards to accommodate Tilly and Tom Amone? Who do you drop out of that? I'm
Iron
curious.
sharpens iron, Mark. That's the best thing about it. Like the depth now.
Yeah,
I'm
as I was saying before. Next
You're
man up.
dropping out Haywood. You're dropping out Haywood and Salmon are dropping out, and Harry Hayes. They leave.
The next man up. That's what I was saying before. Next man up.
Next man.
Welcome, Status. And then one of our
Half man.
Moran. Curtis Moran.
one of our favourite players, Curtis Moran. Where's he? Where's he in that team?
Yeah.
And honestly, I don't think Saluka Fafita's starting, right? But I'm probably thinking that they're like, oh, sorry, Dave. Sorry, Dave. That's why I keep
Your mouth open, I'll throw a ball in.
We love that shirt.
Welcome, everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah, look, I think I've got one big man too many in that bench. I think they're going to have one big fella. Then you've got your Tupanua or Harry, someone who's got that speed, speed and
Center.
and size. So you've got your Tupanuas. Yeah, and to be honest, Hughes or Salmon may not be the 17th player. It would probably be a Kurt Moran.
Yeah.
Or even Haywood.
Well, they've got Kurt Mann at 14 there. So I think Haywood's the next man up for those two.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then maybe Olawapu after that.
Oh,
you know.
mate. Depth's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, we're stacked.
Yeah. See, look, I find it so hard. Let me go a bit.
Someone mentioned before.
I find it so hard to actually pick a team for next year, because if you look at like this year, a lot of it came down to the preseason. So and there's players that we haven't even put on that list that would make round one. Like
As you
they
said,
will, they will stand out in
Yeah.
preseason, and they will force themselves to be picked, and that's so
Yeah.
exciting. Like it could be Underhill, it could be Jack Todd. Who knows? Like
Yeah.
someone's going to be in there like that. We haven't a Smoky, like the next Preston, the next
Sure.
I can't even think
Jack
who it was this
Underhill.
year. Yeah. Harry Hayes or someone like the depth is really exciting.
And you talk about the back line as well. Someone mentioned before about the halves being competitive. Cassius T won the Jersey Flegg competition for the Dogs.
Mhm.
We've got Mitchell Woods as well.
Yep.
So
Yep.
plenty of choices there.
And then you got Alex Conti as well, who arguably
Oh,
be better than
Joey,
both of them.
Joey O'Neill, it's a partner in the halves. Who would you have partnering
Yeah.
O'Neill next year?
Well, I thought O'Neill would be signed by now.
In reserve grade.
In reserve grade, I mean, yeah. Who would be partnering him?
Drew Hutchison, actually.
I'd have Hutchison at lock forward.
I don't think Drew. Anyway, sorry.
I'd
Hey?
have Hutchison at lock forward in the reserve grade. There you go.
He'll play halfback. That's what they want him to do, so that's what he'll do.
So lead the young halves around. Yeah.
The best thing for Mitchell Woods is the fact that right now there's Joey O'Neill. You still got Barley Haywood. You've
Alex
still
Conti.
got Alex Conti. You've got Cassius Teo. Those were the two.
and Drew Hutchison.
And
Turpin.
well, Drew's there. He's
No, to help him, not to play, to help him. He'll never play first grade again.
Look, Mitchell Woods has got no competition. Let's make that really clear. Cassius TR is not
Blake
competition.
Taff. We've got Blake Taff as well.
Ca-
Yep.
Not Blake
Sorry,
Taff.
Cassius Tia will be competing against Mitchell Woods, and so will Alex Conti, and that's what that Mitchell Woods needs.
The zero.
They're not just going to give Mitchell Woods the key to the place. They've signed him because they know that he's got the ability, but they want to make him earn it, and he's going to have to. There's no guarantees that Mitchell Woods will play in NRL. There's no guarantee.
I
fucking guarantee. I'll bet you a house on it.
Did you guys watch
Still
Origin
not guaranteed.
game?
Dude,
Did you watch the
It was
Origin?
great.
Origin
I
was
watched the Origin game. He wasn't the best half on the field.
He was not the best half from that field by a long shot. To be honest with you, he was
Ethan
run
Strange.
first. He was run first.
He's a 5'8".
He hogged the
Mate.
ball really badly in that game.
I seen the game. Yeah, I
Poor
did.
decisions. And I'm thinking to myself, is he our heir apparent? I thought he's got a lot of work to do. A lot of work.
The
Yeah,
kid's
but he's a couple of years like
he's
below
7
that.
old.
Huh?
Everybody chased him. We got him.
Yeah, and we have, and that's part of.
Don't give the key to the sea straight up.
He's got
We have
to.
to have the best players for our juniors, which is we've only got 12 junior league clubs, right? We've got a pathway on the north coast. We've got a relationship with St John's at Auckland,
Yes.
right? We have to go and buy the best kids from around the land to put a fire under our local juniors.
We don't.
Which is
Because
why they've done it. That's our development system, right? And that's why they're throwing more. We probably throw more money than most clubs at our juniors.
we
That
have
aren't
to.
part of the cap, right? And that's not part of the cap.
We had to, Michael.
And we're
Right.
building a relationship at Fiji as well. Kick out setting that up.
Yep.
So we've got
100%.
that as well. We've got those young guys coming through, and you don't know what you're going to pick up over there. There's so much talent.
Hope we get a big forward from Fiji. That'd be good. Like another Petro.
Oh, mate.
Oh wow.
That'd be good.
Weber's just joined the chat.
Well, that's another one. Katoni.
Hey, not
Tony
Weber.
Katunga.
Hey, Weber, what's going on, Weber?
He says, do we really think they will start Tupanua from the bench when they just signed him for 4 long years? What's your thoughts on that? I think
No, I don't think.
they will.
No, I actually see him. I could see him starting before Preston. I know that would hurt Mick, but I
Before
could see that.
Salmon,
He's not better than Preston.
before Preston. No way.
It could happen, but to me, Jacob Preston is his performance in the semi-final superseded anyone on the field. He was an absolute. He was an animal.
Oh,
Who's the best?
unbelievable. It would take Tupanua to really outwork him over the summer, and I just can't see that happening.
Tupanua won't.
Like he outworked for Taylor Mariner and Top 9 2 years ago, and
David.
see taking the foot off the
Everyone.
work him. No
Oh, yeah.
chance.
Oh no, he's a future captain of the club. He's like, if Critter wasn't so young, you'd be he'd be the next one made up.
But Dave, you raised a good point. You actually raised a good point from the mentality of it, and I think that's where I look at it too. Is that Tupanua is going to make Preston better.
Fucking
And
hell.
Preston, and if Tupanua, the way he faced Jarrell Skelton that day, looks to me like is a player that Preston's going to make better because he's going to want to play.
That's going to be.
Yeah.
That's
Well, look,
gonna
I think it's up to Tupanua. I think they would have recruited him, and they would have said to him, "Here's the spot that we think that this is, we've got for you, and you've got to earn it." So, and I don't think it's a bench spot.
I think it just depends. We just don't know what they're going to do next year.
No, we don't.
Philly is a left edge back row, which is kick out spot. To be honest,
Yeah.
Philly's
be.
always
He's
left
playing
edge.
right edge. Roosters.
No, he plays left edge, mate.
He plays right edge, mate.
Right edge.
I've seen him on the right.
Crichton's on the right. Crichton plays.
Yeah, but he was playing right centre as well. I think.
Yeah.
Was he right centre?
But he's
Yeah.
he always
Playing
got
outside. Yeah.
left back row, which is where kick outs is.
At Canterbury, he'll play left or right because that's what they've
That's
built
right.
at our club.
You can't.
That's why another reason why they recruited him, because he can pass left and right. He can play both sides of the field. He can play multiple positions. That's what they're looking for.
Which is why Jamin Salmon and Bailey Haywood and Jake Turpin and that are all there because they can all pass on both sides. It's what everyone thought Bronson Cherry was a right centre. He's a right centre. He's always played left coming up. I know he started on the right at Cronulla, but but he was too good to leave out.
Don't start me.
But he's a left centre.
He's
He
a
prefers-
right centre.
He prefer to play on the left.
He's a right centre.
No such thing anymore. Not at Canterbury, mate.
Whatever, brother. He's a right centre at Cronulla. And
I think we also put too much on who starts as well. Like it's like if you're not starting, you're not worth as much to the side. Josh Curran averaged 54, the same amount of minutes as Max King this year off the bench.
Josh Curran.
And he was our second best forward all year, statistically.
Best forward all year.
Not statistically.
Yes, he was.
I did the statistics, mate.
So did I, brother.
Won most of the statistics.
Yeah, did the statistics. And you
It's
said,
a fact, mate.
Josh Curran, best forward at Canterbury, no worries.
King makes more meters per hit up.
And
King makes more plays per minute.
no.
Makes more meters per minute. Makes more post contact per hit up.
No.
Makes more tackles.
Present the real statistics, Michael.
Statistically, Ryan Sutton didn't lose a game all year.
Oh,
Ryan Sutton's another one.
that's nice.
Ryan Sutton actually plays
Shots
this year.
fired.
He's one of the best bench forwards in our club.
Yeah,
100%. Ryan Sutton.
hasn't lost a game.
Ryan Sutton's one of our best bench forwards. Okay.
Oh, g'day,
Ryan
Paulie.
Sutton
Welcome,
never-
brother. I just blanked Dave out because of his Ryan Sutton comment.
Yeah, of course. That's
Well, that wasn't a dig on Sutton at all. I could have said Liam Knight. I could have said,
Liam Knight.
yeah, well,
Wait,
he hasn't lost a
really?
game. How many? Yeah, but how many games has he lost statistically?
Oh, I don't know. Probably a lot. 'Cause
Yeah,
grand final.
that's what I'm saying.
I think he's won.
But hey, statistics don't lie.
He's won more than he's lost. It's one more than he's lost. There you go.
That's a lie.
Statistics do lie.
Never lie. Never lie.
Status too. Paulie Walnuts. He's wrapped in our depth coming up, and
Where's Mike Cool? Hey, he got his prediction right though. He won the grand final.
we did.
yeah.
We won the grand final.
I
Status
think
two.
we can.
Good question. Thoughts on the Dogs?
I'm
Thoughts
curious.
on the NRLW next year? Can we compete in year one?
100%.
Definitely. Top 4.
So the grand finals this week for the NRL women's. Is Taylor Preston playing? She's coming to the Bulldogs.
That's right. And Dimmick's daughter.
Ah. Yeah, we definitely got some good players, and
For the Sharks.
I wonder if we'll get the Charrington sisters back as well, because all of them played in our Harvey Normans last year. Taylor Preston, Charrington sisters, a few others. I tell you what, though, wouldn't it be great if you've got Belmore packed out to, watching the women's team play some games?
That'd be heaps good.
That'd be fucking great.
Wouldn't be. Let's talk about the Dally M Awards. That's a bone of contention, I would have thought.
Well, congratulations to Captain Critter. Congratulations to him twice for winning 2 awards.
What
Hey?
what 2 awards did he win?
So he won the
Center of the
Captain of the Year and the Centre of the Year.
Yeah.
Our forward kicker was a tad unlucky not to win the back row of the year.
Lucky. A tad unlucky.
Yeah, I actually thought Angus Crichton had it overrated you. I thought he had a really good middle part of the year.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Patchy,
If you
Patchy at best.
watch the semi-final, how many missed tackles that cost them tries?
If Angus Crichton was better than Cow, I'll whisper Dixie.
Well, it was one apiece. It was one apiece this year against the Roosters. He dominated the first time they played.
What about Jackie Perez? How wasn't he better than Zach Lomax? I mean, what a joke.
I think
Statistically, those two were.
I think between the two of them, that they could have both been in the Origin side.
Statistically, both of those two won more categories than most. They were 2 of the highest, the best. There was a rugby
from
league.
Melbourne.
There was a rugby league.
Way better than Lomax.
And Coates, from Melbourne, the try of the year. You think he would have been considered?
Yeah.
But I think he had a lot of games that he missed too. Brian To'o, though, you know what you get from him week in, week out.
Well, it's obviously not. It's not based on the points, because if it was based on the points, Matt Burton wins 5'8" for the year, and Kickow I think was the highest rated edge back rower.
And Dearden had probably a better finals series, you think, or
Yeah, but it doesn't go off.
That should go off that.
No, the voting stops at round 27. That's
Yeah,
what
it does.
frustrated me about all the talk about the coaches. Cleary's taken his team to a 5th grand final. Bellamy's gotten through to another grand final. But it's only in the regular season. It's got nothing to do with the finals. That was the knock on Serraldo. They got knocked out round 1. It's a bit hard to give him the coach of the year. But it's 27 rounds. Judge it on that. That's what the awards for.
If we won that game against Manly and went close against the Roosters the following week or won it, he would have won coach of the year.
But that's my problem. That's my point. That's the problem with
Shouldn't matter.
Yeah.
It.
I think
if you want to award, add it. Add the semi-finals. I'm happy with that.
That's why I feel that's the outrage of the vote.
Scoring and try scoring because there's 9 teams that drop out. So
Yeah.
Because all that Melbourne did was finish three games above everyone else. Okay, fair enough. Penrith pretty much did that last year, but Cleary didn't get it. Webster got it. Why? Because of the resurgence of bringing a team from nowhere to something. And throughout
every Bulldogs fan's given it to him, so I think that's all that matters. Well,
Yeah.
yeah,
I would
it's
have given it to Serrato.
toxic, really. Like the whole thing is the emotional talk from the commentators of the game. Look, it just destroys. Like literally, their brains are like fucking putty. We have Martin Lang, a really good forward, right? Who talks a lot about concussions and he's very sympathetic to head knocks and stuff because he copped a lot. Johnny Lang's son. He used to love the way he ran the footy, right? When
Yeah.
Stephen Crichton didn't get sin binned, he said that he should have been sent off for the tackle on Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. And then this week was saying that Nelson Asafa-Solomona shouldn't have been sin binned and that he shouldn't have been suspended at all. Nelson has. You're talking about a player who's standing there moving laterally slightly, couldn't move, versus somebody who was running in to do the first tackle of a game. Now, look, I think they're both incidental contact and they shouldn't have been rubbed out. But for this player, Lang, to sit there and say Critter should have been sent off, and then 3 or 4 weeks later to say that Nelson Asafa-Solomona should have got away with it, it just shows how fucking hypocritical everyone is when it comes to rugby league.
I don't know. It shows how critical the bunker is, and the NRL is, and it's a joke. It really is a joke. There's platforms for certain clubs that needs to be addressed, I believe.
Favoritism you're talking about?
Yes.
Oh, mate, it's been going on forever. The bottom teams don't get the rub of the green.
Look at the Tigers. Scout Galvin should have been nominated. Should have won the Rookie of the Year.
Yeah, Galvin should have gotten that.
By
a long one.
I just heard reading some of these comments here about Galvin. Yeah,
I saw Gallen and Gould just teeing off on each other about that fact, and Gallen's just his only argument was it's in the rules, and Gould's going, but it's a stupid freaking rule. And I agree with Gus. Like who's the best player? Give the player who's got the best player, who's had the best year, and give him the bloody award. Seriously,
100%.
You can have a best and fairest award, but if you're going to have like the best player award,
that rule has to change, in my opinion. And to be honest, when you get suspended, you lose games. That's your suspension right there. You shouldn't lose the chance of winning the Dally M or whatever award because you've been suspended. You lose games. That's your suspension. That's your.
Preston should have won the Rookie last year.
Hey.
Preston should have won the Rookie last year, but he got done for that hip drop.
That's right.
No one else got fucking booked 4 weeks later.
The hip hop, as they call it.
And Galvin got
hip hop.
Galvin missed out on this year.
That's right. Yeah.
No, that's right. That's
The
right.
hip hop.
I also
hip
believe
hop.
there's so much bias towards halves and spine players in these votes anyway. Like,
do you know in a 4-year period the Bulldogs had 3 Rookie of the Years? Braithen Astor, Matt Utah, and Sonny Bill.
well, Mike Call's back. Where's your read?
Hey, Mike, go! I love Mike.
No, that was D.
I don't Mike.
My sister Sandra just said hello. How you going, Stump? Welcome.
Hello, Sandra.
She's up there in Morayfield.
Yeah, in my territory.
Yeah.
What's her address? My guarantee.
I don't know. I know where it is. It's near the shopping centre somewhere.
Yeah, I'll be in there.
Best and fairest is an under 10 award.
It's an under 10s award. What about the coaches award? Who won that this year? Who won Serrato's coaches award this year?
Bellamy.
No,
Salmon?
not me.
Bellamy. Mr. Bellamy. The dictator.
Salmon won it. Ricky Stewart was the one who was painting that picture. He doesn't like him.
Terrell is fascinating. He's got a bit of that Craig Bellamy about him, but
Who's
he
that?
does some things. He does some not so good things. Like
He likes to be your mate.
Craig Bellamy will will spring his magic dust over players and for Jerome Hughes. And Seraldo has done with Kurt Mann. He's been fucking fantastic since he's been on the Seraldo. And we lost 3 games without him in the last 3 games of the season. So I'm curious to what you all think about that.
I think Kurt Mann had a really good season, but also think he's a really good footballer and has been for a while.
High IQ. He's been in some really good systems too. He was in the Storm system. Definitely feel like we missed him in the last 3 weeks of the comp.
I think his experience was one of the big things we lacked the most, as well as his efforts and his dominating tackles. But in an inexperienced side, easy for me to say, he was sorely missed in those last 3 weeks.
100%.
Yeah, I said heaps about him and Curran this year. Those two in particular coming to the club, they just changed our whole trajectory in regards to where we are in effort. Those two were, for me, our 2 full effort players. A couple of times I noticed, I know we always give kudos to Billy kick out for the kick chase, but if there's a grubber kick in and you'll watch it, it's Kurt Mann and Curran chasing that chip kick through the little rubber. And I've seen it, and then a couple of times we go, there's no way that fullback will get out, but somehow those 2 trap him in there. And I just look and I go, and I'll call out, go, Jack, you gotta watch this, and I'll rewind it. So they gave me here's one thing for you. They gave me heaps of rewind moments. Curran and Mann. Yeah.
Who was the other player that was also doing that as well? It was Bailey Haywood. So it was their role. It was their role to be there when that was happening. They'd repped all that shit. It wasn't just off the cuff. They practiced everything that they did, and they did it. Yep. And that's the system.
Can I just say one thing, Nick, on that one? There was heaps of times where there was a bit of ad-lib play, and Sexton and more to the point, and then Hutchison at the start. But this is when Hutchison was playing halfback, actually, and there's a couple of times when Hutchison got the ball out the back, and he wasn't sure what he was going to do, and he dinked the ball in behind just the post in there, whatever. And then I'd see Curran and Mann zero in like, oh, mate. Like
seagulls to a chip.
Mate, unbelievable. And I just this one time, I think the fullback, I can't remember the game, but the fullback was a bloody good player. And they smashed him in goal. They smashed this guy in goal. And it was how they got him, and he actually hit the post, the pad.
Yeah.
And Curran, I think, man, hit the post on his shoulder to make that tackle. And I just go, fuck, man, like this is what we've needed for so long. I can't remember who it was, to be honest. I'm sorry, but all I remember is Mann and Curran chasing that ball like a seagull to a chip, and they got him, and and that's sort of like, for me, changed our whole ethos of our team.
The dynamic, yeah.
People follow that. People want to follow that stuff. They want to, you know what I mean? That sort of example.
For me, it's in the stats that matter are support play, kick chase, and being in the game. And g'day, Timmy.
Back up, Mick.
So we had a situation where our support play went from the worst team in the comp to being the best team in the comp. Players like pretty much every player in the squad was running with a ball carrier out of yardage. At some point, wherever they were on the field, they were all doing their job in that regard. And that helped us a lot being a smaller forward pack, because the fact that we were actually able to make some yardage at different times, and it wasn't just Burton's boot, but we're able to make a bit more yardage than we normally did, especially against some of the lower teams, which elevated us above them. So we took great strides against teams sort of slightly above or at our level, we went above them because we were able to get more out of our meters. We were able to get more and then have Burton's kick and Sexton's kick on the end of it. Was part of the reason we did a lot better. But against the big teams, if we don't have Matt Burton, we're probably not going to go far unless we get that extra big boy in there that can do it at both ends, with and without the ball.
Well, what a contrast in seasons, say, from last year. This year, rewind moments, Curran, man, on effort plays. Last year, rewind moments, Ockenbaugh, Waddell. Missed tackles.
I still remember the try that. I still remember when he tried against the Gold Coast that Ockenbaugh scored though. That was a good.
That was a highlight moment from last year. Well, very few. Speaking of, what was everyone's highlight moment for the Bulldogs this year? One moment that stood out to you that you think of.
Start, Mark. Go, Mark.
It's got to be Wilson for him.
It's always Mark, isn't it? Wilson, best winger in the club, scoring that try. Amazing. And, of course, you couldn't discount Matthew Burton, 2 field goals in 2 weeks to win 2 games. That would be my highlight for the year.
Love it.
Timmy.
Yeah, I was probably going to say Matt Burton's two winning field goals for us. I was hoping for a third game, similar to when Trent Hawkinson won 3 games in a row with his boot. But wasn't to be. And then I probably would have to say the win against the Broncos up on their home turf. Yeah, that was a good moment. I was at the Leagues Club watching that game with my mum. Yeah,
Mark was at Suncorp.
Yeah,
very good.
I was there. Fucking amazing.
What a day that was. What a day. Pete, what's your favourite moment?
Because that was I was going to say, probably my moment definitely would have been the Broncos. How Jason Taylor was able to come out with that game plan. That had his paw prints all over it because how he was able to see how they were jamming in on those edges. He saw something must be in games before, and when I need to get, but Burton was able to ice those moments. That's the big thing when you look at that. That pass that he threw a couple of times to hit the mark, obviously could have been an intercept, could have gone either way, but the Broncos game, and I've got to go back to the Roosters game, that first 40 minutes of kick out. I love that bit. That was probably one of my highlights too, that moment when we were just carving them on that left edge. It was unbelievable.
On my birthday. It was brilliant.
Yeah.
Kurt Mann's offload to Burton after Blake Taft scored the first try off the scrum. That was a big deal, that try that Burton got. It was the second try of the match. Kurt Mann ran to the line. They didn't think he was going to offload or pass. It was just that moment was there. We were 1 win, 3 losses at the time, were we? Or we won? Yeah, we just lost to Souths when we shouldn't have lost. We were ripped off in that match. Yeah.
Roosters were full strength too.
They had no excuses that night. None. Except for the fact they, Dom Young got sent off and
the weather played its part.
Yeah. But as Gus Gould said, we were already smashing them when they had 13 players, so they can't really make excuses.
And they lost their half as well, so they can excuse. They whinge about that too. He got knocked out.
We had some luck in games, but it's luck that we've had that's gone against us for such a long time. Like teams losing their centre and stuff like that, and having to restructure, and we've been able to pull them apart. I don't know. People probably won't remember these, but some of my favourite moments actually come in round one. I watched a team with that had 30% possession with at the 70th minute mark had only conceded 4 tries at that point, and 2 of them were sort of, we defended our line probably for 5 and 6 sets. And I think they got a couple of kicks to then go and score 2 tries and to be trying to actually still win the match. And Parramatta, they looked at like a team that was going to be playing finals this year, the way they started that game. That was a great memory for me because I knew I got some confidence that we were going to be competing with teams this year if we could. And it was just different. It felt different. I felt belief and another big moment for me was the way we played in that semi-final to establish that lead that we did. And and there was a few moments that went against us, but the way that we played was brilliant, and some of the tries that we executed were just phenomenal. And another game was from a game that we lost as well, was the first 25 minutes against Penrith. Before Nathan Cleary sort of took over, then he did his hamstring. We looked like a team. Penrith come to play that night, and it went set for set for set for about 25 minutes. Nothing in it between the two sides, and that just I get memories from that, seeing how we play and how we compete, and looking at the future sort of thing and where we've come from.
The two grand, as you've made a good point there, the 2 grand finalists that are playing this Sunday, we're very close to beating both of those teams.
Storm.
We played so well against the Storm. Oh wow!
The cherry to the fox. Oh, how
they start up a really good combination, didn't they?
What about you, Dave? What's your highlight moment, mate?
Well, just on what Mick said, so the Parramatta game, I remember that game, just the resilience we had in defending our errors. That was the thing that gave me confidence going forward, and it continued to evolve to what we saw at the end. For me, the highlight has been this podcast, being a part of it, meeting Mick, just getting to interact with all the fans. That's definitely been the highlight of the year for me. But on the field, definitely the moments that you guys mentioned, but also the back-to-back weeks where we had sold-out games at Belmore and Cogra. I think it really started something and just showed the rest of the comp just how well supported we are, and that was one of the prouder things I saw this year.
Oh, Dave, you're getting invited back, buddy.
Yeah.
100%. Bring it back on for sure,
guys. Look, we're going to end this in about 1 minute. It's been a beautiful chat. It's going to come.
Can I just say one more? Can I say one more thing there? So I'm interested to find out people's in going back to the grand final. The common denominator in a grand final winning team. Has anyone ever thought about what the common denominator is, if there is one?
Spine, mate. Spine. 9-7-6-1.
Shane Perry was a halfback for Brisbane when they won a comp.
Yep.
So that takes away that. So, okay, so for me, I'll say, I think the common denominator is having the majority of your team in career best form. Now, I use the term career best form, but I probably more so mean peak, like where they're playing at a year at their peak form. I think for generally, like some players might only have 1 year where they play at their peak. It might be their rookie year. It might be their second year. It might be 5 years into their career and they just have that breakout year. But then they sort of just go back down. Then you'll get players like, your elites, your Clearys, like looking at this game, Munster. They played 8, 9, 10 each week out of 10 every week. They have career best years every year. So you need a combination of those players and players that are playing at their career best years, whether it's you're bringing in rookies, whether you're bringing in journeymen who have a resurgence. And I think the team that wins a comp every year will have majority of those players, if not every single one of them, in their career best form. And you go back and look at every single team, and I take the 2004 Doggies, I'll put that into that.
You have a point?
Yeah, it's hard to argue with any of that. it comes down to injuries and it comes down to having everything clicking at once. And I think Mark made a good point at the start. Penrith haven't played their best footy all season yet. And I think the Storm, I could have said that about the Storm 2 weeks ago. But guys, I've got to say goodbye to everyone. Thank you so much for joining. I'm going to end the show and we'll have a quick say goodbye, but I do have to go in a sec. Thanks, everyone. We're going to be back next week. It's not the end of the podcast. We'll keep it going all off season because we can all talk underwater. Say goodbye, everyone.
See you, boys. See everybody.
See everyone.
Oh, this is